afternoon and thanks for joining us. This is Challenge Diaries, from setback to comeback. This is a program where we talk about your setback. What are those things that have set you back for a while or for a moment? Do you think you have to be down? No, you don't have to be down. You have to stand up. Pick up your shoes, dust your shoes, and then you push on and tell yourself, look, I can do it. I can make it again. And your coming back, your comeback should be in a bigger way. Your comeback should not be a slim fit, should be a bigger way. And so we'll talk about all of those challenges on Challenge Diaries, where we'll go from setbacks to comeback. And on today, we'll be talking about JAM. Aftermath of JAM. The JAM exam has come and gone. But there are a lot of scrutiny to be done, a lot of inconsequential traits and all that. Whatever that is going on, we'll talk about it here on this program. So if you are a JAM candidate, or you were a JAM candidate, or you have a ward or children who go to JAM, let's talk about it. Let's know what is happening or what is trending. Let's inform you what is going on, what JAM is doing, or what you ought to do, or what you need to know about JAM. My name is Beauty Benjamin, and to do this with me this beautiful afternoon is no other than Villagit Yara. Villagit, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I would not murder that name. Did I try?
A bit. I'm sure you can do better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Let's take a look at what's online here. Nigerian exam body JAM orders urgent review of 2025 UTME amid widespread complaints, mass failure. And we have a Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board. Well, let's take it from there now. So the controversies gained momentum after statistical data revealed that over 1.5 million of the 1.9 million candidates who sat for the UTMA 2025 scored below 200 out of possible 400 marks. Now, Matriculation Board is following the public outrage over alleged technical malfunctions and alarming rate of mass failure. In a statement issued by Fabian Benjamin, JAM's public communication advisor, on Monday, the board confirmed it had received an unusual volume of complaints since the release of the UTME result last Friday. The candidates and parents have flooded social media platforms with complaints, citing issues such as system glitches, incomplete questions, and inconsistent question display during the exam. The hashtag "This is not my result" has gone viral on TikTok, if you're following, now capturing the frustration of thousands who claim the scores do not reflect their performance. In response, JAM has fast-tracked its annual post-examination review, which usually takes place months after the exam. The review will cover all three stages of the UTMA process, which is the registration, examination, and result release, to identify and resolve any potential flaws. We are particularly concerned about the unusual complaints originating from a few states within the Federation, a few states in quote. We are currently scrutinizing these complaints in detail to identify and rectify any potential technical issues, the statement read. JAM stated it is collaborating with external experts to ensure a thorough investigation. These include members of the Computer Professionals Association of Nigeria, University Vice Chancellors, Chief External Examiners, and representatives from the Educational Assessment and Research Network in Africa. Now, Fabian Benjamin emphasized that if faults are confirmed, the board will implement appropriate remedial measures promptly. These are the controversies deepens. Reports have emerged that thousands of aggrieved candidates are preparing to launch a class action lawsuit against JAM. Some persons have gone ahead to do that already. Allegations of system errors and a lack of transparency in result collation have fueled demands for accountability. Now, Minister of Education, Tuji Alausa, defended the integrity of JAM CBT system during an appearance on Channels Television, The Morning Brief. He claimed the technology has significantly reduced exam malpractice and suggested it be extended to the National exams like WAEC and NECO, which is already in the process, because from next year they'll be writing WAEC and NECO on CBT. But this year is the maiden, they're starting off this year with some schools. JAM Registrar Professor Isiak Oloyede also downplayed the backlash, asserting that similar performance patterns have been observed in previous years. These are one of the few, complaints and things going on concerning JAM now. But let's go on a quick break. When we return, we go into this conversation properly. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Challenge Diaries. We're still talking about JAM and the aftermath of JAM. JAM exam started on the 24th of April, which ran up to last weekend, like 29th, 30th, 31st, 30th, and then after that, JAM result was officially released last week, Thursday, Friday, and it's been dropping until. A lot of complaints have trailed this year's JAM, as usual. Every year it does, but there are some peculiarity. Now, one of those that is sort of great concern is the underage children. The official age for any student to be qualified, candidate to be qualified to write JAM, was put at 16. That is official age to gain admission into a university. And children went ahead to buy phone. Now, my concern today is if JAM knew, because one of those complaints that are coming is that JAM has withheld children who they term as underage because their birthday is falling between November and December. Now, if you are having your birthday from January to October, you are, in quotes, certified as a candidate. But if your birthday falls from November, December, you are tagged as underage to write JAM. And these underage children were given, they said they gave them condition that the only way they could attain or get admission was to score above 320 in JAM. Now, given that as May, the children picked form, they wrote the exam, and then the results are in. But JAM has withheld the result of these underage children according to them. And parents are coming out to say, look, if you say my child is underage, but you sold form to these children to write JAM, now, fine, you are also saying that they didn't meet up to the 320 and above, which you wanted them to score. And so for that, they cannot get admission. Fine and good. But can we have the results? Now, in JAM's breakdown, you see where they break down English 50, Mathematics 50, CRS 20. Now, they give you the subjects, they grade the subject. You now have the aggregate. Now, you now have a total of 200 and all that. The parents are saying, if my child is perform below what the benchmark you have given, can I have the result so that we can see how the child perform in any of the subjects that will aid her in studying for it next year? But withholding the result is not beneficial because we don't know where the weakness came from. And I think I also agree with that. If you give me and say, look, okay, I perform lowly in biology or in physics, which means I have to do better and now channel my effort and energy into biology and chemistry. But when you don't give me the idea or to know where I'm falling short, how do I now know where to channel my strength into? That's one point where I am onto JAM for. You should release their result. Of course, if you don't give go ahead, no school will admit them because they need a clarification from JAM. They need to fill their form in JAM offices. They're not doing that, but they just want to know what they score. They want to see their score. Then again, we also see a lot of persons are also saying JAM is saying there was impersonation. People impersonated. And I'm asking, how did these persons impersonate? Because at the JAM, like I said before, I was at the JAM center 2 of the occasions, 2 of the days to see things myself. Now, you have to thumbprint with your card, which the thumbprint and it shows everything about you before you get into the hall. That is the same thing you use in opening, setting up your system. And I'm asking, how did these children or people who impersonate, how did they gain access into the JAM hall to write for someone? Because some people are saying some result, they are saying it can't be this person's result. Like if you're all classmates, we know our performance in class. And I'm seeing someone that I know is not very 100% bright, so say in classwork, coming at JAM with all A's, and they're like, hello, how do you do that? But JAM said there were impersonations with a total the number. Now we need JAM to tell us, how did this impersonation, how was it carried out? Because you are putting process on how these children gain entrance, because they assess them from the gates. At the gate they have security and the JAM examiner people who cross-check these children, and then they get into the compound, and then before they get into the hall, they now do all of those processes. So how did this person impersonate the candidate that they wrote for? That aside, we'll also talk about it here. I remember saying it, I said, look, before JAM, you're conducting an exam that is internet based. Have you gone to the centers, all the centers you're using as CBT centers, to check their system, to check their internet system, making sure that they are functional enough to carry the students during this exam? because people are coming out to complain. They had malfunctioning, they had internet disruption, they had all manner of people are saying the questions were inconsistent, the questions were not coming, they are doing a lot of questions are coming. Now we know that we are trying to do jam on CBT, but we have done this on the first time. This should be like how many times we are doing CBT. We should have covered up by now to say, oh, these glitches, we have solved 98% of it. Go to the, because I'm saying this because WAEC is on the way coming, and NECO. We are soon going to be writing NECO and WAEC and CBT, not paper and pen. But have the government done their due diligence to say, look, let us look for the schools. Let us make sure that the computers are working, that they have a certain internet system that will not fail during this period. Or if you're saying that you're using the popular, like we call it a NEPA PHD, you have another alternative to switch to generator, so you don't have disruption during the exam. All of these things are coming to play now. People are coming now to say, look, and some other students are saying, hashtag, this is not my result. Now, for someone to come up boldly to call out jam, this is not my result, which means the person know what he or she wrote. The person know how much effort they put into that exam, study for it. And then they are seeing the result, and they are saying, no, jam is saying over 900,000 score below 200. And we have like how many people who register for the exam? Those who did not turn out, who did not come for the exam, who do not know why or what their reasons were. We also complain about the timing. I said it here on the jam day when it was going on. Putting an exam by 6:30. How do you want to make out for students who are moving from one particular location to another to write exam by 6:30? Considering the kind of system we have now, insecurity wise, some persons could not write this exam because it did not meet up, and it's programmed such that it's 6:30, it's 9:30. So if you mix 6:30, you automatically miss out for the exam. You can no longer take part in that exam because you missed out your time. That time was scheduled for you, and so you missed out. And these are the things JAM should consider. But the one now, JAM has moved. Usually, like I said when I was giving a brief here, they do their review month after the exam, the result has been released. But now the review is coming faster because there are lots of pressure on JAM. Parents are calling out, students are calling out, everybody is calling out. We want to know what is happening. This is not my result. And amid all of this, we still have some other schools celebrating, like a school. There's a particular school in Ogun State who 19 students, about 19 of their students got above 300. 345, 338, 330, 350, 350. About 19 students. And then we'll have the highest JAM scorer for this year. According to JAM, in the past 10 years, no JAM candidate has exceeded or gotten to that mark. And Afolabi scored above. Afolabi is a 15-year student. This is one of the people they term as underage, probably because his age was not underage. Now, Afolabi Olumide Ayodenje score a total of 370. That is a true landmark in academic excellence, if you will say. So there is song they say, as they pain you, they sweet us, as they sweet us, they pain you.
I don't see how the song comes into play right now.
No, I feel like it's going 370. And some persons are saying hashtag, this is not my result. Some persons are saying this is I can't find my result. I can't. A lot of I can't.
There is no way you know what you see. There are sometimes you write an exam, you know what you have written, and you see your results. You know this is not what came out of me.
Exactly.
I am certain of what I wrote. There are exams you know how much you prepared.
That's how you call for a mark of your scripts.
We do a lot of this in the university.
Yes.
A lot of people are able, despite what other lecturers will think of you, but I am sure of myself and I'm willing to toe this path. Sometimes they will advise you, you are going to be, you know,
lecturers will be on you and all that.
Everybody will be looking at you like a hawk or something. But then,
you're certain that you studied.
So I'm sure, or I want to believe that most of those persons who are crying out, this is not my result with the hashtag, they must have believed in themselves so much.
So now, what do you say about this underage children result that have been withheld by JAMB?
Well, we don't know the excuses JAMB is giving yet. We don't know on what grounds. Because if you say these people are underage, why are they writing an exam in the first place? You allow them the process to go through the process of registration.
They were given a condition.
They actually registered. And you told this person that unless you're able to score above 300,
yes,
then we allow you to go into school. That means you're ready. That was the criteria. Now you allow them register, and most of them actually wrote this exam. So why are you not really, even if they did not hit the mark, they should be able to know how far
that's my point.
They went with it. I don't see any reason why results have been withheld. Or are you telling us that it was set aside, then later on it will be attended to? The public are asking for answers. We are asking questions, and we are expecting that those in authority will begin to answer these questions and address these issues. If you're withholding the results, on what grounds? Why are you withholding results? Is there a time frame for this particular set? Maybe we are attending to this later, that we are going to release it at so time. This is the week, this is the month, or what is the expectation? If not, on what grounds are these results being withheld? If there are no rules, then people are free to really cry out, because I see no reason why they should.
It's the same thing I said, because if I don't know where I'm weak, I won't know.
You don't know how to prepare better next time.
But if you show me, because obviously, if JAMB does not clear you, you cannot use that JAMB exam to get admission. So the fear of saying, yeah, they will get admission, no, they can't.
There is no magic in it.
There's no magic in it.
You already know.
But I think that JAMB should release their results. Let the children see their performance, and then know where they are having the weakness, and know how to focus on that.
But funny enough, some persons are not really desperate to get into school. Some parents are just using it as testing for their children. It's not necessarily that, oh, we just want to send you off to school. But let's see what you can do. Let's see how we can help you prepare better. Let's expose you to these external exams. For all their life, they've been writing just the ones set by the teachers and all of those.
Within school.
And you know, JAMB came before WAEC. So this is more like an exposure, an experience. Some parents are willing to do that experiment, pay the money, go through the process. Just feel what it's like to write an exam that is outside your school. So when you come in, you have more confidence as you're sitting for WAEC. WAEC is on as we speak.
Yeah.
So it's more like preparation for some persons, not necessarily because they want this underage child to go into school. Some of them are not even ready to release the children yet.
I actually spoke to one of the supposedly underage child who wrote the exam. But I knew when they registered, they had some issues at the center where they were having issues because of her age. Her birthday falls within November. And they said the criterion was that if your birthday falls after October, you're going to perform above 300. And she took up the bids and then wrote the exam. So when the results came up, I called the mother to find out. And she said she's devastated. She's angry. She's getting. I said, don't let her get depressed. She's too young. Do you get? Now she's like, her anger is not that she's not getting to school, but why are they withholding my result?
Yes.
I need to see my result so that I know what I am doing or what I've done and how to work.
Of course.
So our dad had to call her and told her, my girl, JAMB is not the only way to get into a university. Don't worry about it. You go for A-level. Don't worry. I know you've done well. I know your capabilities. I know what you can do. So you must have scored close to 300, but they're not letting you see. So don't worry. Talk to her. I'll kind of talk to her and then find a way to. And she was like, okay, I'm done. They can go to their job. I don't care. I don't care. And I told the mom that I don't care. It's not true.
Yeah.
Still put an eye on her because she's going to school. She's writing YEC. The friends will be talking
with all the people,
so
definitely
the thing will still be there. So follow her up so that you can say that we are watching her, she's stabilized enough. Okay, looking at the time now, we'll take a quick break. Let's go for a news in brief. When we return, the conversation continue. Stay tuned and thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome to the news in brief. I am Ubelegit Yara. The governor of Rivers State, Sasimini Alai Fubara, has urged his supporters to follow in the strategic step he's adopting to achieve enduring peace in the state. Speaking at the night of tribute in honor of late Pa Edwin Clark in Port Harcourt, Safubara told his supporters to tone down on their confrontational approach to the political situation. Fubara said he often wondered about the path some persons take if they truly lead to achieving peace, stability, and reconciliation. He cautioned against acts capable of escalating tensions in the state and said that as a leader he was quite aware of the enormous responsibilities before him and will do everything necessary within the ambit of the law to restore normalcy in a bid to move the state forward. Governor Fubara spoke on the legacies of late Pa Clark and harped on the quality of his humility, sacrifices, and undying dedication to peace, justice, equity, and fairness in the Niger Delta and Nigeria. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan appeared before Federal High Court in Abuja for the hearing of a suit challenging her suspension by the Senate over allegations of misconduct based on allegations of bias by one of the parties in the suit. Akpoti-Uduaghan had in a motion joined the National Assembly, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, and Senator Nedan Imasuen, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Code of Conduct as defendants. When the suit, which was reassigned to Justice Binta Nyako following the withdrawal of Justice Obiora Egwatu from the matter, was called, counsel to the suspended Senator Jibrin Otutepa told the court that the plaintiff has filed all the documents to be relied on in the matter in line with the directive of the court at the last hearing. Counsel to the Senate Paul Daudu and that of Senate President Ekwo Ejembi told the court that they have also filed their various documents to be relied on in the matter but drew the attention of the court to a motion for disobedience to the order of the court against the plaintiff. The two senior lawyers representing the second and third defendants in the suit said the plaintiff has responded to their motion. 5 traders who were residents of Dogon Rowa community in Bashar district of Wase local government area of Plateau State have been abducted during a bandit attack on the market in the area. The incident occurred on the market today with an influx of traders and buyers from neighboring communities conducting business activities. According to residents who managed to escape the onslaught, the invaders came in large numbers on motorcycles at the peak of business transactions. They shot sporadically as traders and residents scampered to safety, forcing people to flee the market and their homes. The bandits burgled and looted some shops and business centers, cutting away large quantities of food items, consumables, and medicines during the attack. And on the foreign scene, the British High Commission says it will work with the federal government on the implementation of new immigration rules contained in the recently released white paper. The UK government released a white paper containing a raft of measures to curb immigration, including the reduction and end to the social care work visa, a long settlement route for migrants, a shorter time limit for the graduate visa route, among others. Although there was no details on the implementation timeline, the British High Commission in a statement said it will partner with Nigeria on the immigration white paper. Before now, UK authorities had said they will restrict visa applications from countries including Nigeria, whose citizens are more likely to overshoot their approved stay. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, former human rights lawyer, who voted for the UK to remain part of the EU, is under renewed pressure to tackle immigration following the anti-immigration reform party's gains in recent local elections. And that's it on the news in brief. More details at 3 p.m. I am Ubilejit Yara. Good afternoon.
It's good to have you back. If you're just tuning in, this is Challenge Diaries. Your setback, from setback to comeback. Yes, when you're being set back and then you're coming back, don't come back in a little way, come back in a bigger way, in a big form. Because whatever sets you back, set you back to do you good so that you can come back in a bigger way. Now, we're talking about jam, aftermath of jam, all the issues that is boiling on the internet, the hashtag release my result, hashtag underage children exam being withheld, impersonation and all that. So just joining them. Let's ride on. Now you're talking about the underage people, and one of the questions I asked earlier was that Jam is telling us that there were impersonators, people actually impersonated in an exam, a CBT, where you have to use your fingerprints, your facials to gain access into the hall. And I'm asking, how? Because it's not like paper and pen where you just come and say, okay, I'm one of the candidates, you just walk in. Do you get? You have to be identified because you've been captured. Your photo, your profile is on the system, is on their side. And so you bring it, when you don't print, it brings up your everything. And you're telling me people impersonated it. How?
Well, that's not a question. I don't know how to start responding to that, being a non-official of JAM. But I know
as a Nigerian,
this is not the situation where we say in our village people.
Which village people?
This is where we say, now we they do ourselves.
Exactly.
You understand? In the local colors, that's how it's being said. Because there is no magic. If you have to turn print before you go in for an exam, having done the registration, of course you're going in with your photo card, right? They have to be sure this is who has been registered. The person who has been registered, this is the person who is writing this exam. So I don't know how it happened, but I know it's amongst the officials.
That's what...
There is no magic.
If you go online, you go to TikTok and
there is no magic.
People are saying...
I believe it comes from those persons...
The officials at the center who were organizing the exam.
Because for crying out loud, there is no way. Okay, I show up at an exam that I didn't register for. Will you permit me to access the hall? How?
And if someone's even gone ahead to tag a price, what people paid to gain access into the hall. Now, I have been contacted as JAM writer or guru or whatever, mercenary. Yeah. And then I get to the hall. Now, you are one of the officials at the JAM Center. That's what is ongoing online.
That's what they are saying.
That's what they are saying. Yeah. So they buy their way from the security to the JAM officials. So the switching in the hall is not their problem. They've already paid for it. So it's easier. So when the person I told you I was at the JAM Center. And the guy was making call. Why you worry yourself? Anything concern JAM, just call us. In any state, we will run out.
The confidence.
And he was so out of place because he was making the call in the public, where people were all eyes were looking
you're
at
not
him.
even afraid that maybe
you could be
captured or something.
Yeah.
That people are actually hearing.
I know. I actually regretted why I did not just pick up my phone and record him at that point. Do you get? He was making a bold statement. Any state will run it. Will run out for you.
The confidence we have in doing the bad things is what I can't kind of place my mind around. So how expensive is it to spend all those monies you threw to the security, the officials, and even the person is going to be paid else? Why come there, right? All the monies you've spent at various points, how expensive is it to put it into that child to sit back and read?
Let me shock you.
If it's the materials, get the materials.
Let me shock you. Let me shock you. Some parents are the ones who hire these missionaries.
Of course, I'm talking about the parents
now,
right now.
Okay, now my question,
the parents, not even the
my
child.
My question is that if you're hiring someone to write an exam that qualifies your child to get an admission, are you still going to do that in a university when he gets from year one? Will you start paying all the lecturers, all of his courses? Do you get me now? Because you're sending a signal to your child. Okay, because when he enters, hello mom, hello dad, I have to do this one. Then you now start paying.
Sorting.
What kind of a student or a person are you bringing up from the university?
You know, I have said before, and maybe I have to retreat on that the citizens we have in Nigerians, we all come from families. And a family is the bedrock of every society. So if the family is not playing its part, taking responsibilities when they are supposed to, you will see it out there. A child who is neglecting responsibilities at home, you will see it out there.
Exactly.
A child who is respectful at home, you will see it out there. There's a way somebody acts, you like, even if maybe he or she did not grow up with their parents, you're already imagining what kind of home this child came out from. This child was trained so well, even if a nanny did the job, you're already accruing the applause to the parents, right? So the same thing pours out here if a parent would be ready to pay whatever it takes to ensure that the child gets into school. You're forgetting that you're breeding the future leaders of tomorrow. And I wonder why the same people will still shout at the government. The same people would say the government is corrupt while you play the role.
You see,
that child is going into a system where they don't really know what's happening. They can't speak for themselves. They don't have the confidence to defend themselves.
To teach the child in wrong
This is
wrong
the
steps.
lesson you have given them. When they get into school, there is no need being serious. After all, my parents
sort our way out.
fund me. My parents are willing to pay. My parents will pay. And if at all there is a time they cannot handle, I'll take it all by myself. You know, that pride is there. There is no need to be diligent in your studies anymore. There is no need putting your head down. That lecturer, I can handle it. So you feel like, because I have money, I have the world at my beck and call. Whatever I do, I can, walk away freely at the end of the day. That's the kind of person you actually remain for the society.
And they will now have let's say half or quarter baked graduates.
Uncooked, actually.
Uncooked, okay. Because you
half-baked is fairly, I can manage.
Okay.
But for someone who has been paid from JAM, definitely the parents will also be willing to pay for this WAEC as they're writing all the sorting, so they throw in papers because we still hear they do that today.
Of course.
So they throw in paper, they pay the amount that they are asked to pay. After the payment, don't worry, there's no need reading, don't bother. When it's time for objective, they bring it, they call it out, you write. When it's time for essay, they pass the papers and you're just copying and copying and copying. When they get into the university, you don't expect less. They didn't even struggle to
just
get themselves into
stopped.
the system. They didn't work to get into the system.
Exactly.
So why stress themselves when they are finally there?
Because when you don't work for, you don't see the value of it. You feel life is just, okay, it's that way, let me just relax. And then you get in, and then the first year you're hitting, and then you see them carrying over like 4 courses.
In one semester.
In one semester. And they're not looking for her to carry over, they're not looking for her to pay. I think that JAM reviewing now, they should note, okay, now what are the points you think JAM should note as they start their reviewing?
Well, I think they should actually contact. One thing they should do is they should reach out to the stakeholders, educators, the government, the body responsible, sit down and have a good conversation. When they put their heads together, there is no way they will not come out with viable solutions that will address this issue. We had issues in 2024, but I don't think it was as bad as this. Not with the kind of reports, even if we are saying, okay, the system has improved, but then the aftermath is not saying the same thing. The result, the impact we are seeing is not reflecting the improvement from 2024. So I think it's necessary they get to reach out and know what to do. How did we go wrong? How do we address this issue? What are you expecting us to improve upon? You can ask parents. They are your markets.
There should be a kind of form.
There should be a forum where people can
there is this question and answer form where they can generate.
A questionnaire?
Yeah, question can generate and then send out. People just fill and put those areas you think that JAM can improve on.
Very.
So you say now people register. You know the total number of people that registered. You have their emails. You have their phone numbers. You can generate this questionnaire and send to these people. Look at people that, like, when they are registering now, they done registration before the exam starts.
Yeah.
You do all of this. So like they finish now. And that is part of the review. Begin to look at what parents are saying what students are saying, so that
What's
you can
trailing
now
the
know,
whole process.
yes, know where and how to go, excuse me, how to go about your review, so that you don't end up doing something the other way. Meanwhile, you know, when a drum is playing, you're supposed to be dancing this way. You find yourself dancing this way.
It would be a waste of time if they don't address the foundation of this whole issue. It would be a waste of time.
But if
what's the essence of the review at the end of the day if we don't see an improvement come 2026?
But now, for me, I want JAM to release the results of the underage children according to them.
That should be the right thing.
That is the first thing they should do. Release their results. Now, there is no way they can get admission without JAM granting them admission. Of course, the school cannot grant them admission without JAM, because at some point you have to go to JAM to fill your form. All of those things, the print out, the registration, and all. Now, JAM should release the children's results. Let them see their performance and know how to channel their energy. 2, I want JAM, starting from now, they say better soup na money killer. If you want to make a good pot of soup or a good meal, you don't prep it in seconds. It takes a longer time to arrange. So JAM should go look at the centers that they use for their CBT. Look at the centers and then check their system. Are they solid enough? Are they good enough to withstand the pressure? Because the exam, they are in four categories in a day, between the time, this time, timing now. And each of the times they are like over like 2 hours for each of those timing. Now check the system that that center has. Is it in good condition? Check their internet system that they are using. Thirdly,
are they not supposed to have a template? Are they not supposed to? Do we just bring any system for the exam? Okay, no. This is the brand we are using for this exam.
So what if the center they're using does not have that brand?
You want to be a center for JAM, go get it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what JAM should do. Because people are complaining of malfunctioning of system.
Because if we have one company, if we have one company producing, you're buying from one company. When you have issues like this, you know who to
but
reach
you know
out
you cannot have one company producing computers in all the centers. That one I don't want to another thing. You don't enter another way. Now the third thing I also want you to look at is the time, 6:30. That 6:30 time, it should be reviewed. Make it at least 7 to 9. So arrival time could be 6:30, but the exam starts by 7.
My question is, what's actually the rush?
They're trying to finish up in 1 week because of how many days they set to do all of that.
What's the rush? Why are we making things so difficult for ourselves? What's the rush of? Did they write exams at 6:30 during maybe their grandparents? I don't know. Or are the children of today
we are
supposed
moving
to be
with the trend.
faster and more smarter than they were? Because has your brain even woken up by that time? For an exam.
So you have to wake up by. Imagine those who live in Lagos. Those who live in Lagos, they have to wake up. They will not even sleep.
No nights for you.
No sleeping.
How does it make sense?
And you're going for an exam where you're supposed to go calm.
You should be emotionally stable, mentally stable, psychologically. You're supposed to be intact.
And your rush and all the accidents, kidnapping that happened during that exam time, that rush hour. So these are the points that I think JAM should look at in the course of reviewing. And also check those who are saying this result is not my result. Please go back and remark, like we do in university now. We would have said, okay, I'm calling for a remark of my script because I'm not comfortable with this. This is not my result. I was looking for 400 and you're giving me this. So these are all the points that she has stated her point. I've stated mine. And for those of you who are out there, you're feeling that you score below 200, don't worry. There is next year. You're still within the age. That's not to be in a hurry. Just take your time. Go back, re-strategize your studying pattern, and then calmly. Now would I jam like how many times now? Jam used to be.
Some people were jammed
people
by
they
jam.
write like how many times. So don't worry. Calm down.
But that's not what we are saying. You just keep repeating an exam.
We're not saying that, but don't.
Yes,
better prepared.
You should be ready for school.
And for those parents of them, guardian who feel that you have to love your child by supporting or aiding malpractice.
Excuse me, that's not love.
It's not love, because you're having that child in university. It's not love. You have to stop. Let the child be responsible for his or herself academically. You support with the necessary tools that the child needs, like the books, reading materials and all that, but going to pay money
environment
to
is
learn.
Another thing. Even the reading, that time when you're studying and they call your attention, oh, come and fetch water.
Yeah, it can distract you.
You are destabilizing that child. So I think with a schedule for reading, you should respect it even as a parent. I know most of our parents don't really do this. Some of them are in the habit of, they feel you are idle.
As you're not sweeping or doing one thing. As you're not
moving, they feel you are idle. Some parents are in the habit of doing, they just want to see you busy. So you should be able to also respect. Children have rights. Children set boundaries, and you as a parent should be able to respect. Sometimes they say, before you come into my room, please knock.
But that's showing example.
Expected.
It's showing example, yes.
The same way you don't expect the child to run into
your room
without knocking on your door first.
And not just knocking.
Even if the door is
when
open.
You knock, you wait for a response. Yes, come in. Not knock and then you bust in. No.
So always interrupting the study time would be a challenge for that child who is preparing for exam. Give them space.
Okay.
Some of them are not reading enough. You should be able to drag them alongside and show them the right thing to do, and not always interfering. That way you're making them responsible.
Your final note.
That's my final words already.
Okay, and for you, Jam, please, as you're doing your review, properly review and then think about releasing this underage children results. Hashtag release my result, also look into it. And then check your centers. Let us have a better preparation 2026 so that we can see that, oh, Jam has improved. Okay, Jam held the cries and the hashtag and the complaints that came from 2025. Let's do better. We can do this better. We can get at this job better than it is now. And then we're looking forward to WAEC also to coming on board in 2026 CBT. I hope the Nigerian government are ready to take WAEC to CBT because I know most of the schools don't have computers. The children don't even know what it means.
Children are not even literate.
They don't. The schools internship, how much more those in rural areas? Thank you so much. My name is Beauty Benjamin. Stay tuned, same time, same station next week. Challenge Diaries, from setback to comeback.